All right, here we go. Welcome, Acolytes, to the Cleric Corner. My name is Riker, and here we talk all things Dungeons & Dragons, tapping into our higher powers to create worlds more unique and stories more impactful. My gosh, it's been a little bit since I've done this. I feel like I say this every time. I really want to do this, like live stream with you guys every single week, and for some reason or another, I can't get like a full month in a row, and I'd like to do that. So, hey, maybe next month, because I feel like, no, this is the first Wednesday of January. What am I talking about? We're going to do it this month. Who do we have in the chat? We have Pedro Longoria first. Hello, welcome. And Issel Reeds. Evening. Depends on where you're from. Evening, morning, good night. I don't know. We've had some people from everywhere. Here right now, it's like 6:30-ish. Raziel, hey, we got Raziel in the chat. Hello. Today's going to be some fun things, guys. It's going to be chill, right? I went through the Cleric and Revised Species 1 D&D Unearthed Arcana playtest. Long title. But I went through it and I filled it all out so you guys don't have to see me fumble over every question, but that I can just kind of share with you my thoughts. But generally, we'll just chat and ask questions and see where we are all at with the New Year's. I hope you all have some New Year's resolutions, both in personal life and in D&D. Me personally, I want to be way better at my accents and my voices at my D&D game. It's kind of fun. I just started a Spelljammer campaign with a bunch of friends of mine, and it's an online game, which means I am able to record it. And I'm going to put it up for certain Patreon members who support me in that way on Patreon. And they'll be able to watch us play and the campaign we're calling A Wrinkle in Space. And I am very, very excited about it. If I can give you guys just a quick recap. We have... Pedro, is this changing races to species? I agree. I think it's a great change. I really do. I think races was a little bit confusing. Species is definitely more in line of how I perceived them. Because, hey, fantasy, obviously, like, one thing can breed with all of the other things, right? You can have a half-orc, half-dragonborn, be perfectly fine, don't question it. But, more in the real world, and I say that because that's how people defined race, is because that's how we define race, is two creatures that can have a baby together that's one race. So, no. I'm getting that mixed up. That's a species, and they're saying, and races are like people who live in certain areas of the world, have different cultures and different things like that, and they can have it. I'm confusing myself on this. I apologize. Anyways, species is a better option. Jeez. Species is a better option. I think it's it better explains what it is. The D&D races, lineage, ancestry, however you call it. I think it's a good change. Not all who wander are lost is from Vermont. Wow, Vermont. I've never been to Vermont. 8:30. Yeah, so 8:30 there. So you're 2 hours ahead of mine. Thank you for staying up. I know that some people are even still on their holidays. So grateful for you being here, and grateful for all you guys letting me kind of have a week off of my normal scheduling time to put up a video for you guys, and we'll get right back in action for this Sunday. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the game, a Wrinkle in Space Spelljammer setting. I opened up the game with the planet exploding, which was phenomenal. And all of the players got thrust onto a moon with no way to get off of it. Basically, all of their, because of the nature of the explosion, they're not sure what yet, the ships were dispelled, and in crash landing broke their helms. And so they don't have a helm to get off the planet. Last session, they were able to find something that helped them get off. But anyways, I'm getting more into the details. I'm just excited for them to kind of figure out what went on there and just how big it is in the overall story of it. We have Nate Calum in the chat. Hello, welcome. Would it be more in line with race than species? Just means that interbreeding and interspecies relationship is interracial. Yeah. That's what I was talking about. Is like in fantasy, those things are still possible, right? You can still breed between two things, and generally that is a defining feature of a race. Visually, though, right, they look very, very different, right? An orc and a dragonborn don't look like they should breed, right? A goblin and, well, let's say like a bunny and a bunny and a dragon, or a bunny and a lizard, shouldn't really be able to breed. But yet we have the Harengon, and then we have the lizard folk, and in D&D, technically they could, right? So I don't know. I just like it that way. In my D&D games, not everyone can breed with other creatures. Usually, with a few exceptions, usually it stays within their species, right? But again, it's like, even if you don't agree with that, you can play it however you want in your games, right? You can still allude to them as races or change them to species, however you'd like to do it. S.O. Reed, seems a little sci-fi for D&D. Species does? Yeah. A lot of people think species does, which is why I actually like lineage better, because we already used that. We already used lineage with the Hexblood and the Dampier lineages. They weren't races because, you weren't really born into it. You were lineages because you were like forced into that after your original race. Right, so you transformed into like what you were, which was a human, into a vampire or a Dampier, and you were a lineage instead of race. But I say, like, hey, lineage is a good word, and if it covers all of them, then maybe we should use that, right? So that we don't have to use like certain words for, what an orc is and a different word for what a Dampier is. It should just all kind of fall under the umbrella of lineage, and I don't think species kind of does that. So I would agree with you that it does. Yeah, it feels a little sci-fi-ish. It does. But then again, it's a scientific word. So let's see. Moon survival sounds fun, like a fun time. Yeah. It's a purpley volcanic planet, purpley volcanic moon that they crash landed on, and it's dope. I'm really enjoying this campaign. Oh, we got a lot of people in the a lot of people commenting killer clowns. Yeah, I can't wait for them to find some killer clowns. I for some reason, it's just hilarious to me that they're like considered devils. Was it devils or demons in Spelljammer? I forget if they're devils or demons, but they're a fiend, right? And I just think that's hilarious how that came to be. And I kind of created a unique origin for killer clowns in my campaign, which I'm super excited about. Bunny lizard hybrid, that does sound something that comes out of Avatar. There are books on DM's Guild and other things that people have done where they've actually taken all these races and like made their own sub races on like half races. So if you do have one or the other, you can have them have a baby, and each of them have like traits from the top two, or their mother and their father. I forget what it's called, but yeah, I mean, it's a thing. Right, it's possible because they can't tell you that they don't, or they don't tell you that they don't. In fact, well, I mean, maybe they do. I just don't remember. But I'm pretty sure that they don't specifically say like, "Hey, these are the races that you can breed with, and these are the ones that you can't." No, I don't think they'll touch that. Race and species. Night Calum. Yeah, race and species still lacking. I know there was lineage, but there's also ancestry. There is in the feedback survey today, they gave 2 other names that are just plain worse. They are bad. they're not even, they shouldn't even be on the docket. But they gave us the option, maybe to try to help convince us that, hey, species isn't that bad than the other 2, or just options that we can kind of look at. But Isso reads purple volcanic moon. Yes. It's basically ash, and that's how they survived the crash landing, is because a lot of it was just pillows of ash, and so a lot of their ships, or I should say not a lot, but some of the ships weren't completely destroyed on impact, and those were the ones that they came up and they were able to play with, or not play with, they were able to interact with, that's a better word, interact with a few of the survivors, or barely survivors, of the crash landing, but unfortunately none survived like they did. And there's got some like fate magic involved and stuff like that, and yeah, it's just fun. It's just fun. Hey, not all wonder who lost. You know, you have a good point there. Platypuses are a real thing. So we have what would a platypus be? It would be a rat folk mixed with a bird folk. So Aarakocra plus. And maybe make that into your D&D game. A platypus kind that are just the offspring of Aarakocra and a beast folk race. That's funny. And so maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is totally legit of these racial inbreedings, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Night Killing. You are correct. That's the one I was thinking of. It's the elf and an orc had a baby, and they have 2 volumes on the DM's Guild. Good job. This is why you guys are here. This is why. Okay, so before we get into it, I do want to give a big shout out again to all my patrons. I always have to. So thank you so much for supporting me in this channel. What I do here is only possible because of you. And I can only hope to continue to provide fantastic content for all of you, both in video form and bonus content on my Patreon. But we have acolytes as Weaver Atropos and Joseph Rogers, and then our disciples: Christian Roberts, Christopher Byram, Oren Hammerquist, 95 miles per hour Tonberry, Matt Clark, Peter N, Pink Strawberry Sunday, Randall Graves, Jessica Henry, Joel Christensen. Thank you guys so much. And if you guys haven't, and actually if you have missed it, where am I? Which one was it? Oh, okay, maybe I'll show you guys in a second. But anyway, so again, if you guys are just coming in, what we are doing now is going over the Cleric and Revised Species survey and talking about those things. If you guys do have questions while we're talking about those things, obviously I want to chat with you guys, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on this stuff. But if you guys do have questions, put in question, the word question in all caps, and then your question so I can pick it out in chat. So here we go. Okay, there we go. So here on the right, I have the PDF of the playtest, and then on the left here I have is the feedback survey, and you can access, if you haven't before, you can access that here on D&D Beyond. It is under collections, or sorry, not collections. Is it? Yeah, sources, and the one D&D playtest on your. This would be like on your phone or something else, but it's under the source books or by the source books, and you can find it there. Or you can just search for it, and it's all there too. It's pretty easy to find. So anyways, we're going to go the Cleric, Life Domain subclasses, and Revised Species. Right here is a video on it. And then the download PDF, which is what you see on the right here. And then here we are taking the survey on the right-hand side. So download PDF on the left, take survey on the right. This will lead you to basically this page as we fill out the survey. Now, I will say before we get started that yeah, surveys aren't 100% accurate to the ideals of the whole. There are a lot of people who have talked about the irrelevancy of the survey, or the client. What's the word? The group of people that are filling out these surveys not being representative of the whole, and there's some mathematics or things. I'm not a data analyst or anything like that, but there are videos about it. Anyways, we have learned that if something is above 60% satisfaction rate, so like the 50 to 60 range, then Wizards of the Coast will keep it and change it a little bit to try to get that satisfaction rate up. If it's more like an 80 to 90% satisfaction rate, they will keep it and not change it. So that said, I think if we really do want things changed, we should probably rate it the lowest we possibly can so that it bumps that percentage as low as we can. Does that make sense? And so there are some areas that I'm a little harsher than I would be, but that's only because of the satisfaction rate that they're kind of looking at, which was great because they told us what they were doing with the satisfaction rate, or how they were kind of judging it out, and how they are putting in their content going forward. And then each iteration of the playtest going forward are those iterations of those fixes, etc., etc. So here we go. So would you like to rate material represented? Yes. What was the first edition of D&D that you played? For me, it was 4E. And then, have you playtested the Cleric class? No, unfortunately not, especially during the holidays. It's very hard to do. How satisfied were you overall Cleric class? I was very satisfied with the Cleric class overall. Just talking about the content within it, the abilities and the choices, just all really good. I do have a disclaimer though. So here we have the Cleric down here on the right. So we have a class group, priest, primary ability, wisdom, basic stuff. But they changed out a few things where they gave you an extra feature for a channel divinity at first level, where you have the divine spark, which is basically another option if you don't want to turn undead, which in a lot of campaigns you never turn undead. I have a cleric in my campaign right now that I'm playing for a different game, not the space one that I'm playing or that I'm DMing. But that character's level 10, and I still have yet to use turn undead. So it's nice to have that extra option to use that. As then we have prepared spells. We have the Holy Order, which is another also awesome change choice. Protector, you get martial weapon proficiency and heavy armor training. Scholar, you get basically extra skills, and Thaumaturge, extra spells. And I like that differentiation. One thing that I did not like, and some of you, if you've been hanging around the channel and watching my videos, you know that I have opinions about it. Opinions about subclasses being at 3rd level. And I will not go over those reasons now. I have 2 videos on my channel right now from, I think, 2 weeks ago and then 4 weeks ago, all about both my opinions as well as the public's opinions on what that is, right? So another one that I didn't, and I'll go over why in a second, just as a brief synopsis. But another thing I wasn't really excited about was the 20th level epic boons, which I never have been, and I still am not. But as far as the Cleric goes, you still have Blessed Strikes, which is you get radiant damage to both weapons and your spells. So before, it really depended on your subclass having that, whether you have bonus to your spells or bonus to your weapons. And so this allows you to have both and not have to worry about it for the flavor of your character if you wanted to be more melee and chose a subclass that didn't allow you to. So, really good. Really good. Okay. So this is why I don't like third level cleric subclass. In short, we should not have to do a complete overhaul of subclass levels, meaning change them from where they were at 1, 2, and 3 to all shifting to 3, just for the sake of stopping multiclassing, which is the reason that they gave you the video. If there is a multiclassing that is too tough, then we should focus on fixing that multiclass, not get rid of an entire way of playing for some people. I'm talking about min-maxers, I'm talking about power gamers, things like that. Obviously not the way I play, but I don't judge the way that they play, and if they have fun doing that, I think that is awesome. We shouldn't have to take that away from them. If we were just trying to make it easier on newcomers, which is the second reason that they gave, with the amount of decisions to make, they thought it overwhelming that they had to pick their subclass amongst all the other things, like your background, your race, your class, everything else. If we're worried about that extra decision that we have to make, then why give us level 1 feats and the options of their Holy Order, which is more choices that they have to make in the first level anyways. So we're basically trading 1 and getting 2 more. So please, let's not make levels 1 to 2 tutorial levels that we forget about and never want to play again, which is basically how they're treated now, after we get through the tutorial, right? If you play video games, you get past the tutorial, and then every time you play again, you just skip that. Let's make it fun to play for both newcomers and veterans by giving them their character concepts from the start. The problem of bringing newcomers are already fixed, meaning making them as simple as they possibly can with pre-generated character sheets. There you go. They make no decisions. All good. And then I link the 2 videos that I did there. So But anyways, and I recognize that this is my opinion, and I don't share that for a lot of people. There was a lot of pushback on those 2 videos that I did, and that's perfectly fine, right? And that's why and I just wanted to get my ideas out there for those who shared those ideas, had a voice, I guess, or could kind of bounce off those things with me, and that they don't feel alone in feeling that way, because I certainly felt like it did. I didn't see any other YouTuber talk about these things. So anyways, if you have your opinion that's different, awesome. Go fill out the survey and prove me wrong, right? All good. Okay, let's see. Yeah, Caleb Coppa, Holy Order and subclasses are different. So the Holy Order, again, is the feature where you choose Protector, Scholar, and Thaumaturge. So it's those basically what you're focusing on as skills, spells, or martial. As a cleric, you get to choose one of those 3. Ooh, excuse me, 1 second. I was stuck in my throat. And then the subclasses are at 3rd level where you choose. So clerics right now get their subclass at 3rd level, which is also weird just as being a cleric that, you may serve the god of death, and then you don't get really death-like features until 3rd level. But before then, you look like an average cleric of life. Really? So, anyways. So there's a couple things that bother me, and I express it there. Okay, and then a Holy Order. Oh, yeah, this was one thing that I did not like as well. So you have Holy Order at on second level, and then at 9th level you get to basically pick another one from those 3. So if you chose the Thaumaturge with the spells at the beginning, you can then choose Protector at 9th level, right? If you wanted to be at 9th level, somehow be proficient with martial weapon proficiency and heavy armor training. To me, I'll just read you what I said. It is getting your 2nd pick at a higher level. If they didn't want it 1st level, I don't see many people wanting to go all the way to 9th level just to get the thing that they didn't want in the first place. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? It's more than we get with the cleric subclass the cleric class that we get in 5e, right? Okay, let's see. How satisfied are you with the elements of the life domain subclass? I was dissatisfied. There are some things that were great, some things that were not. With the domain spells, it says, so sad that we have to miss out on level 1 domain spells where the most diverse and plentiful spells lie. And that's another cause of the 3rd level clerics, right? So 3rd level cleric subclasses, if you look at the life domain cleric, you no longer get domain spells for 1st level. So actually, if we look at the life domain here, we look at the life domain, then we do not get bless and cure wounds as automatic prepared spells anymore. We don't get it. Which means things like trickery domain, we will not get charm person and disguise self. With the order domain, we will not get command or heroism. With the tempest domain, we will not get fog cloud and thunderwave. With the death domain, we will not get false life, ray of sickness. You get the point. So I said, so sad we have to miss out on those 1st level domain spells where most diverse and plentiful of spells lie. We are missing out on such great flavorful spells, not just in this subclass, but in all subclasses with specific subclass spell additions. Another reason we should keep subclasses at level 1, or at least still give them those 1st level spells retroactively. So I think that would be another fix. If we for sure are keeping them at level 3, then I'm like, hey, why not just give them those spells retroactively? Meaning at 3rd level, they'll still get those 1st level spell options. They'll just have to wait until 3rd level in order to get them, right? I feel like at least that's some sort of middle ground, right? Yeah. Let's see. Karaito, you are no longer on Patreon. It said it gave me a notification that you're no longer in there. Yeah, yeah. If you want to fix that, please do. I want your name up there as bad as you do, more even. But yes, they could still give them at 3rd level, not all wonder or loss. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, they could still do that. So it's weird that they just got rid of it altogether. And again, so weird that nobody else is talking about this. It's so weird to me. Now we're moving on to species. Which of the following character species have you playtested? Again, haven't done any. All of us are busy during the holidays. How satisfied were you overall with character species? Honestly, very. It was really good. It was real good, guys. With a few things of the Dragonborn, a few exceptions of the Dragonborn, it's really good. Okay, so the Ardling, if we scroll down to the Ardling, they changed the Ardling from the, what would you call it? More of the celestial base race or species. See, I gotta make the switch in my head. To more of a beastkin species. Which is interesting, because now we no longer need things like a rabbit race or a lizard race or things like that. We can basically just use this for anything. Where we have the Ardling, we have the either you're a climber or a flyer or a racer or a swimmer, depending on what kind of animal that you're related to. And then you get thaumaturgy, cantrip, as well as keen senses. So basically, I'm pretty satisfied with all of them. Flyer was weird to me. So if you chose your animal ancestry to be a flyer, then you have vestigial wings. As a result, you fall. When you fall at least 10 feet, you can use the reaction to glide, and then you can jump better with advantage, essentially. And I'm like, if the Dragonborn, which we'll get in a second, gets a flying speed, I don't see why they can't have a flying speed. Especially at the power level that we're about to see in the Dragonborn. I say, like, hey, flyer, give them flying speed. At 3rd level, at 5th level, whenever it needs to be, just, give them a flying speed, because that's what they expect. Climber, it gives you an unarmed strike that just gives you a bonus of proficiency bonus, which is, nah. But climbing speed's good. Racer gives you the dash action. With the dash action, your speed increases for that action. The increase equals 10 times your proficiency bonus. And to me, it's not clear, and I kind of emphasized here, it's unclear if the bonus is added to your speed or if it's the new total of your speed, right? So then the swimmer, it's definitely the best option when you get both the swim speed and resistance to cold damage. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, like, honestly, if you look at all 4 of them, the swimmer is the best one. If you're not sure what an Ardling is, I do have another video on that as well that I did back in the first iteration of the Ardling. But basically, I go into, like, what I think the Ardling should be, and it's basically a cultural inclusion where the Ardling is basically a humanoid with a head of an animal. So we're talking Egyptian gods, Indian gods like Ganesh. I think is it Hindu? I don't want to get that wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. Just gods that are that have animal heads and more human bodies, and so that not all celestials are just human looking, and in a lot of religions they're not, right? So anyways, that's what I said about that. We'll go to the Dragonborn. Then we have, ISO reads, we're talking about the Goliaths. The Goliaths have tons of options, which I am here for. So here for. Dragonborn's great, because they took a lot of the things that we talked about last time, and apparently what a lot of people said about it is that why not just make it exactly like we had in Fizzbands, because the one they had was just a piece of crap compared to it. So they did. They made it just like the one in Fizzbands, where the breath weapon takes 1 attack instead of 1 action. Then you have the damage resistance, dark vision, and the draconic flight. Draconic flight? Why? Why would they do it this way? Flight as a Dragonborn? Awesome. But it's talking about how you channel the magic energy of the draconic ancestry within yourself to manifest spectral wings made of the energy used by your breath weapon. So, to me, that's extremely weird. That's something cool, like, as a sorcerer, right? You make wings out of the element that you kind of conjure, right? Or a wizard doing that. But a dragon, I've never heard of a dragon doing that. And I don't see why not we can't just give them wings, right? Or wings that would be, that are strong enough to fly at 3rd or 5th level, per se, right? And I don't see why we have to have spectral wings when we can just have real ones. And I gave her, and honestly, to me, I told them this. Honestly, I would rather have no wings than wings made of magical energy. To me, that just doesn't evoke a Dragonborn or a dragon descendant. because I don't see where they would be getting that from an actual dragon who has wings. I don't know. But to me, it says a frightening presence might be a better replacement for it, and does invoke more of what you would expect from a dragon person. So to me, I would say, hey, get rid of Draconic Flight. If we can't get it, then just don't give it, and give us some frightening presence. And I think that would be really good. Okay. Yeah, Isso Reed says they were using the logic of Protector Aasimar to get their wings or something. That's a design choice. Yeah. But like Aasimar, one of them can fly for a certain amount of time, and honestly, I would be okay with that if they just were able to fly for a certain amount of time with the Ardling flyer, since they are still kind of celestial based. If they could summon their wings, like they transform their wings, become this vestige of angelic proportions, and they summon their angelic wings in. Awesome, love it. All right, so let's go to Goliath, because again, yeah, this is probably my favorite race of this iteration of the playtest. We have the Goliath, which is basically separated now. Instead of just the one type that you get all types of giants: Cloud Giant, Fire Giant, Frost Giant, Hill Giant, Stone Giant, Storm Giant. One gives you a bonus action to teleport. Another one gives you fire damage on an attack roll. Another one gives you cold damage on an attack roll, and you slow a person down, which could be just freaking crazy with a strike of lethargy, or the lethargy boon with the warlock. The Eldritch Blast that slows them down. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Then we have Hill's Tumble, which knock people prone. Stone's Endurance, that as a reaction you can reduce damage, and that's the one that we're used to, the one that the regular Goliath already had, but we're separating it out into the Stone Giant bit. And then we have Storm's Thunder. When you take damage from a creature, you can deal thunder damage to them as a reaction. So to me, I'm like, I love all of them except Storm's Thunder, just because I feel like a lot of people will look at that and be like, oh, I can only do it when someone attacks me. Why can't I just use lightning when I want to, right? And so to me, I'm like, let's make it more like Frostburn, Fire's Burn, or Frostburn, or Frost Chill. Let me change that. For Frost Chill, make a D6, and maybe the creature can't use reactions because they're like paralyzed in some way, giving them like an extra thing like the Frost Chill did with the slow, making them slower. So, yeah, so Lance of Lethargy, you got it. So yeah, Cloud Giant, I love the Cloud Giant too. That I have so much fun with teleportation in that. Then you get Large Form, which you can grow. You can grow a size larger, and then Powerful Build is something that you're probably used to. So yeah, love that, love it. Okay, so please, this is what I'm talking about with the species and the lineages and the ancestry and things like that. It tells you to rate them from 1 to 3 of basically your favorite and what you like. Number 1 being species for me. Number 2, subtype, which is weird. Subtype with your type being your creature type, and that I have no idea what they're talking about there. That to me, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, so subtype with the type being your creature type. So sub creature, is that what they're meaning? Is there going to be types and subtypes? Like species and subspecies? Race and subrace? Is that what we're talking about? Are we bringing subraces back? I thought we were done with subraces. I don't know. There's no context here whatsoever. Then 3 being kind. And yeah, when I think of kind, I think it's the like kindness or kindful, if that's a word. But I think of that kind of kind. I think, again, species is the best one here. Caleb, so a miniature Shocking Grasp. Yeah, that could work. Yeah, I like that. Actually, if we look at it, Storm's Thunder, excuse me. When you hit a target with an attack roll, it could be, the attack roll could be a ranged attack too. So it's a Shocking Grasp, but it could also be a ranged Shocking Grasp at the same time. But yeah, Caleb Cop, yeah, type, elf, subtype, high elf, yeah. Yeah, something like that I assume that they're talking about. It's still weird that we have no context about it, though. So species, I chose species would be the best choice to invoke a clear idea of what it is. I expressed to you guys at the beginning of the stream. I'm still a fan of lineage, which we already have used with the Hexblood and Dampier, so why not use it for all of them? So. Oh, you might be right. Not all who wander are lost. The type being humanoid. and then the subtype being that makes sense. That makes sense because you always see in like stat blocks where the like let's say the creature is a fiend, which is the type, and then the subtype being devil or demon. I could see that might be what they're going for, and I'd be kind of behind that. Except I wouldn't use type and subtype. I'd probably use species and subspecies. Okay, so now we're going to feats. Do you use feats while playing 5th edition? Always. I always do. And then how satisfied you are with the feats? Satisfied. Not very satisfied or dissatisfied because of these reasons. I have not play tested any of the epic boons. So let's see. Oh, did I? I did not read you guys this one thing back here about the boons that I was going to, because I put it back here just because I didn't know when we were going to have another time to reference it. There we go. So domain spells we talked about. Okay, preserve life. Oh yeah, why didn't I scroll down on this? I'm sorry, guys. So another thing I had with the life domain subclass is the preserve life, where they stopped you from healing people at half point maximum or half hit point, so you can't like heal people above half hit points. And I thought that was silly. You know, it's going to be the same amount of healing either way. Just let them kind of use it when they want to. But here we go. Epic boons, because there is not enough room above. I put it here. They're still not worth going all the way to 24. They aren't. The power level of them, they're not great. To me, after 18, I am likely, or level 18. Let's put that. I am highly likely just to multi-class somewhere else because none of them are appealing. And yet, 2 levels won't give me a flavorful subclass perk if we were doing all the subclasses at level 3. So either way, I'm not getting a great option for 18th level. I'm not. Or the great option after 18th level. It's either 2 levels in some class with no subclass or a weird epic boon. So please make 20th level options better and or push subclasses back to level 1. There we go. Okay, let's go back. I wanted to hit that because I thought that was important. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, Devil Ham, hello. Tappy, welcome to the chat. We also have Tom Offer Westhort. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hopefully all of you guys have or are thinking about filling out this survey. Okay, so another thing I had a problem with is there shouldn't be a prerequisite for these epic boons. There shouldn't be. If you look down here, where epic boons, you see epic boon of fate, mage or priest group. So if you remember in previous ones, all of the classes are kind of putting into groups. Right, the mages are like your sorcerers, warlocks, wizards. Your priests are your clerics, paladins, and druids. Oh, no. They monks? Hold on. They say up here. Yeah, priests. Cleric. Oh, yeah. So cleric, druid, paladin. Yep, I was right first time. Okay, so, but here's what I said. So the features themselves point to a playstyle or choice for an individual. Meaning if they're a spellcaster and they look at an epic boon that increases their attack roll, they probably won't pick that up. I think they're smart enough for that, right? So putting prerequisites will make them impossible to get for those who might find it flavorful or inspiring. So an epic boon of recall, this one right here, basically giving you a casting of a free spell slot. So you get to cast a spell and not expend a spell slot, provided the spell is 5th level or lower, right? So again, not with 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th level, this doesn't affect, right? So it could be better as an epic level 20 feature. And as an epic level 20 feature, I'm like, let them cast a 9th level spell for free, right? They get 9th level, like, I think 3 levels before. So having an extra 9th level spell, I don't know. It makes sense to me. It's level 20. But here it says, so an epic boon of recall might be really nice for an Eldritch Knight or Arcane Trickster Rogue, which I think they do get up to 5th level at high levels. And so this would be super nice for them. But because Arcane Trickster or Arcane Trickster Rogue is part of the expert class or the expert group, and an Eldritch Knight is part of the like the fighter or warrior group, they can't take the epic boon of spell recall, even though it would be really, really cool for them to be able to do that. I would love to have that kind of thing as a high level Eldritch Knight. I think that would be so flavorful. But they're unable to, since they are neither mages or priests. So not to mention other subclasses that have yet to be made. I just feel like this is just kind of shooting ourselves in the foot for future creative expression, right? So then I didn't like that. So I put very dissatisfied. I'm just going to put very dissatisfied on all of them, just to try to bring that percentage down a little bit. Yeah, Caleb Cup, that would be excellent for third casters. Excellent. Yeah. It'd be great to have that, even for just for in the hedge cases, right? Okay, let's go on. How satisfied are you in the rules glossary sections? Things I were dissatisfied was the banishment spell, the prayer of healing, and spiritual weapon for these reasons. So banishment. If we scroll down, where'd you go? Did I skip it? Where are you, banishment? Oh, you are. There you are. You're hiding. So banishment. So basically, banishment is the biggest difference here is that the person that is banished gets to save every turn, which before they did not. And so with it taking creatures out of the equation, meaning that being its main feature, right? You banish it, it's not there anymore, but can save every turn. It becomes a worse hypnotic pattern, which can be cast at a lower level. Banishment is the 4th level. Hypnotic pattern is 3rd level. Hypnotic pattern, you can get a bunch of people out of the fight, and they don't save until they're hit with something. Banishment, you get one person, they're taken out of the fight, and they get to save every round. So ultimately, pick up hypnotic pattern, throw banishment in the trash. But again, here I am comparing a possible 6e or 5.51 D&D edition of a spell and comparing it to a 5e edition of a spell. So hypnotic pattern might look different in the 5.5. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I can only compare it with what I got, right? Prayer of Healing gives you a, well, I don't have to scroll all the way down. It gives you a short rest, essentially. It gives you the benefit of a short rest. And it's a better catnap spell, or catnap. Catnap is I think another, it's a spell above, it's a 3rd level, while Prayer of Healing is a 2nd level. So if it's replacing it, great, right? If it's replacing the spell and we don't get a catnap, awesome. But it's something to consider it being too powerful, because you get the benefits of short rest, and you get like plus 2d8 healing. So yeah, not a whole lot are lost. Mostly, yeah, Treant Monk was definitely wrong about, I don't know if he said that they were ultimately cutting it out. I think they were just cutting it out of subclasses maybe, or classes in general. Like the class dependency, like I think Fighter and Warlock being the prime examples of them getting their stuff back on a short rest. But we have yet to see those classes in the playtest, so we're not sure. So, okay, and then Spiritual Weapon, basically the change that it gave it concentration. So now you have to have concentration. So to me, I didn't know that the spell was a problem. I really didn't. It was never a problem in my games, but it was definitely one of the draws and cool features of being a cleric. And so to me, I'm like, why are we changing that? Why are we fixing something that's not broken? So, and just for kicks and giggles, let's put those back at very dissatisfied, just to get a little more attention there. Okay, how satisfied are the elements of the attack action presented in the article? Again, this is kind of more of the gamey mechanical stuff. Let's see if it's up here really quick. So it's talking about, where is it? There we go. So equipping weapons, where you can equip and unequip a weapon before and after every attack within an action, which is great. And then moving between attacks, you can attack, move, attack. Pretty simple. I had nothing to say about that. It's pretty good. And then the this one was a weird one in previous iterations of the playtest, but I'm like, I guess it's fine now. With the influence action, it's basically telling you like, this is what you should do with an NPC if they're indifferent, friendly, or hostile, and you kind of should roll a charisma check, and if it succeeds, then they'll do it. But if it's not like risky to them, and then there's a certain interaction with them that you can make, and then ability checks, examples, and I'm like, it's just, to me, it's like overcomplicating a very simple idea. But hey, it works for those who need it, right? That's all I really said about it. All right. Additional comments. I'm just reiterating what I said, what personally my biggest issue with this is, and that was the third level subclasses in general. So third level subclasses. And then again, if there's any additional things, that's what you should do. I am 27. I am from the United States. There we go. And then which of the following represents your racial or ethnic heritage? I am... Where am I? What the... There we go. Non-Hispanic, white. Euro-American. I am white. And then which of these best describes your gender? I am a man. And submit. There we go, guys. Thank you for taking our survey's feedback. It's very important to us and to the D&D game. So there you go. There you go, guys. We filled it out, or I did, and obviously you in the chat or people talking about this afterwards or watching this afterwards, you can obviously go and check that out and completely put your opinion in the opposite direction. I'm really excited to see how this goes, guys. I really am. I will continue. I am appreciative for everyone else who's kind of given their opinion that is contrary to mine, and it really has helped me be more okay with subclasses at third level. I just will have to start every game at third level is the only thing. Sure, you can do it, but personally, unless I have a few brand new players, which I'll probably do this for them anyways, giving them a pre-generated stat or pre-generated character sheet, I will start everyone at third level because that's where the features that they really want. That's when their character concept becomes into view, right? A lot of people were saying like, what about their arcs in obtaining their subclasses? And I'm like, if I have to create quests to help the ranger get their animal, or the beastmaster get their animal, and the artificer to build their artillerist thing. If I'm going to help create a quest to have a druid pick their circle, and like if I have 6 players, it's like 6 quests, and somehow I'm supposed to do all of that before level 3 and have them all level up with their features of all of their quests to obtain their thing. That's a lot, and I don't want to do that. to be perfectly honest, if I want to create a level 1 to 3 adventure where that is the adventure, where that's the entire campaign is just them obtaining that, I think that's different. But I feel like there is more to the story than just obtaining your subclass feature, and I feel like there's more that we can do as a narrative, an overall narrative, and a lot of people want their subclass features to be able to create the narrative within that, not being the narrative to obtain it, if that makes sense. And a lot of the story involves them getting it, dealing with the power that they have, choosing who they want to be with the power that they have, and ultimately getting to those high levels where they make a difference, right? And to me, if you have a subclass feature at level 3 that you create an entire quest for to get, you can do that at any level, right? Features are not exclusive to level 3 subclass. If there's a feature in level 18 or level 12, you can have that quest line to be able to help you get to that feature, right? So I mean, I'm wondering if all of these people who are creating these quests, and I know I'm ramping on this like one point now, but these are just thoughts that I'm having in my head. If they're so worried about having quests in order to get a single feature, do they do that for every single feature that their players have? And to me, that's just a little bit exhausting. So anyways, again, each their own. If they want to play that, that's great. But I do feel like there's some things missed out there. Kayla Cost says, I've done questing, RPing, great new powers before, and it's best done as sprinkled in bits. Warlock's patron personally delivers their boons is amazing. Yeah, awesome. And it shouldn't be forced. Exactly. It shouldn't be forced. It should not be forced that everyone now has to start at level 3 with their subclass because they have to have a tutorial levels through 1 and 2 for the sake of newcomers. And like I said in there, it's tutorial levels that people will do once and never again, right? They're going to do that. They're going to figure out how to do the game, and then from then on they're like, okay, I know how to play. Let's get to the good stuff, right? Let's do it. So, anyways, I think it's a good thing to talk about. I think it's important for the gameplay, especially low-level gameplay where most games are handled anyways. This would be a totally different conversation if we had talked about like higher levels of gameplay, but this is low levels. It's where we're starting. It's where most games are played, and it's the levels that are played most often. So obviously we want to do it right. So cool. Well, yeah, that would be a good, not big things, but very low. Yeah. Yeah, not a whole wonder lost. They did not. So the new spell preparation restrictions. Well, I guess be specific on what you're talking about. Have to match levels to slots. If you have 4 level 1 slots and 1 level 1 slot, you'll only be allowed to prepare 1 level 2 spell and 4 level 1s. Oh, I don't think that they're going to do the 4E or is it Pathfinder? The Pathfinder way of doing it. As far as I know, spell preparation is the same thing. It's the same thing as before, except now all classes get to re-prepare their spells every night, which I actually love, and I've been doing that even now. In all of my games from when I've played, your bard can change out his spells every night, just like the druid and the cleric can. So so yeah, anyways guys, we're almost done here, but next week, I think I want you guys' help in some game prep, which will be fun. So maybe we can bounce the ideas off each other. I really want to have this time to be interaction with you guys, and I feel like it just hasn't made that hump to be able to have like the following interaction of all of the community that I know is out there. And honestly, like, you guys have been incredible. Like, I know a couple of you have been, like, here religiously, and that is amazing, and I thank you for that. It's beautiful to me just to be able to see, like, friendly faces, and to say friendly face, I don't know what your face looks like, but friendly, familiar names in the chat where I know that they can come in. They have excellent feedback and questions and things like that. Just want to get more people on board and grow the family, you know? So, hey, invite your friends to come on stream next time. So thank you guys so much for coming, and hey, go fill out that survey and tell Wizards of the Coast what you love and what you hated, and keep doing so as we get through this year. So we have 1 full year of playtesting still to go, and we just got to push through it and give our feedback where we can, and I will make videos where I can with the things that I'm passionate about, and obviously always looking at your guys' comments and videos that you liked, so that I can know really how you're feeling and where the community is in their own rights from where I can see, right? So, thank you guys so much. In the meantime, right, go out there and spread the good word of D&D and make the world a better place, both on and off the table. See you guys in the next one.